the table here to be able to share with everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm a tea guy, Jesse. I'm having a little bit of a tea time and chill out here with you guys on Sunday. It's been a while since I've been here. If you're just watching, I have Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube all running. So if my eyeline's a little bit weird, glad to be there for you. But it's just really great to be able to, have some time to chill with everybody and enjoy. Where is everybody from? While we're logging in, let me give me a little bit of a question about where we're all from. Colby is asking if you should drink tea at 6 o'clock. I mean, hey, it's 4 o'clock here, but you're right on the edge. But if you want to live a life on the edge, you do you. Welcome everybody. We're having people in Killian's here in Montana. Ace is from Canada. Elegantly says Idaho. Manchester. I didn't get to Manchester this time in England, but next time I go, I'm definitely going there. Sweden. Thank you, Emil. Very cool. Waves from Canada. Hi, Lucy. That's which way is north? That's the ocean is there, so that's Canada, somewhere out there. Very, very cool. I am having tea with everybody. I live in Los Angeles. I'm out on the porch in downtown Los Angeles. It's going to be loud out here. If anybody, hopefully you guys can hear me all right. If everything is good with the volume, just let me know. It seems like no issues. All over the place. British Columbia, Wisconsin. Offshore on the coast of Suriname. Wow, I don't think we've ever had any offshore Surinamese on. Welcome so much. Glad to be able to enjoy tea time with people from all over the world. Indonesia. People looks great. People asking, is this China? No, this is Los Angeles. I live in LA. So it was just so nice out. I was going to have tea. I figured if I was going to have tea, I might as well set up the cameras and we can do a little bit of live stream. I haven't done one of these live hangouts in quite a while because I was traveling all over Europe, sharing about our new European warehouses. I'll give you updates on those, and just generally, have been super busy with the launch of the new tea resins and all of the fun stuff that comes from those. All our fun little resins in the tins. Very good times. I'm going to be making today, where did I put it? Don't tell me I forgot to bring out the tea. I brought the Chen red tea. Give me one moment, I forgot the tea. It's like the one thing I need for a tea live stream is the tea. I forgot the tea. But we're going to be drinking the new premium Chen red tea. There is tea in there, even if you can't really see it. I like something to be a little bit better for the cameras over. The premium Chen, very fun to see everybody. If anybody has any tea questions, let me know. As always, as you guys know, I'm your tea guy, Jesse. I lived in China many years. Now I'm doing tea on the internet and trying to do tea education and let people know about the amazing world that is tea and help everybody through their own tea journeys. Today we're going to be drinking the premium Chen. And I think you'll be able to see, look at how nice these leaves are. So I'm showing them each. I got a couple cameras going here, but really nice full leaves. Really nice kind of clear individual leaves, unbroken. For Chen, this is also quite hard because it's a thing. They're very small leaves, so they're easily damaged in the making, and so you need these are the premium ones. These are the ones that people set aside, and they look real good, and they're very pretty, and they're very tasty. So questions over here. Got lots of questions over here. Jesse says, when are we going hunting for the ancient 10,000-year-old tea trees hidden in the ancient caves in the mountains? I would love to do that this summer. Planning on going back to China in the spring for the tea season, for our green teas, and then also for experiencing some new tea mountains. I'm going to try to get to a bunch of different places this time back in China. I want to go to Wui Mountain, a big tea place where they have great rock tea. I want to go to Fujian province, to Fuding, where they have really great white tea. I've actually never been to Fuding. I drink tons of Fuding white tea, and we have a couple Fuding white teas on the website, but I've never actually been to Fuding. And then hopefully get a chance to go back to Yunnan. There's too many amazing places to go. Very good. We got a lot of questions. By the way, if I miss your questions, I do apologize. I will go back, and feel free to repost your question, or I will circle back to you at some point. People saying over here, Sen says, Jesse, do you invest in the stock market? I am in the stock market, man. Got to be in those stocks. I'm just really boring, though. I buy ETFs, which are just like funds of a mix of everything in the market. I have one that's invested in the American market, one in the European market, one in the China market, and then I kind of just set it there. So my investments are very boring. Cheers, everybody. We're talking about tea, not investments. Questions over here. How much for the Gaiwan? It must be really nice. These are my basic white Gaiwan sets. These are the ones that come with my basic set. It's really good quality Dehua porcelain. Nothing crazy fancy, but like good quality. And I wanted to give this one. Here we go. By the way, to look at the color of that thing. I don't know if you can see it as clearly as it looks to me, but like the color on that is unbelievably good. Oh my gosh, very good. And normally I would pour this first steep out. I did give my hedgehog and my octopus here a little bit of tea, but this one's going to be for you guys as it sits there, so you guys know what we're drinking. There we go. Excellent. Questions over here. I've only been, Baggage says, I've only been able to drink 3 times a week because I don't have the time. But now I can drink more, have more with the resins. That's really what the resins are good for. I had a video of these go viral this week where you can see the tea resins here. Let me take my little info card out of there. There's a little info card in here on how to make them and steeping instructions. But you can see the resins, different colors or different flavors, and then they dissolve and they make a whole thing of tea. We can even do one of the resins over here. Somebody is asking here on Instagram, what's the point of pouring the precious tea? The first steep of tea is often used as a wash. This allows the leaves to open up, and the better flavors are kind of more into the front, into the future. The wash also takes away some of the caffeine, which is useful if you're like me. I've already had tea today, so I'm having tea another time, and it's getting on a little bit later, so I'm not super eager to have maximum caffeine content right now. But the wash is usually used for most of the aged teas, and then for this tea you could not wash it, but I generally give a little bit of a wash because I feel like it's a good one. Cheers over there. Beautiful color on the Qimen red tea, premium Qimen. This is part of the new subscription box that just dropped. Questions over there. Did I destroy the pufferfish bet for making me go to the beach? No, man. I have no control over the pufferfish. He just moves me around like a puppet. For all you know, I'm doing all this at his bidding. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, cheers. If you're in a place and time where you can be drinking your tea, break your tea stuff out. I'm going to be here at least half an hour, probably an hour. Cheers, everybody. Questions, Greeny Grass. Can you present a little bit of the leaves in the cup? Gladly. Because again, be able to show you the quality of these leaves in there. Very, very nice, full leaf. Just like excellent quality tea. Really, really nice. Hopefully the comes through. The Qimen red tea is known for they call it Qimen Xiang. Xiang is fragrance. So Qimen Xiang is like the Qimen fragrance. There's a distinctive type of fragrance to this tea, which is like very nice and warm and nutty, and I almost think a little bit spicy. It's weird. I wouldn't call it spicy like hot. It's like a nutmeggy type thing going on, and it's just really, really solid. It's a great tea. Drinking some of the Irish breakfast. I want to try the teas you have. This would be a good tea for you. Try the Qimen red. If you like the Irish breakfast or English breakfast, this would be a good tea for you to try. Very fun. I've been missing a lot of questions over here. Questions over here. We have somebody who's saying over here, my dad showed me some of your stand-up in grad school. I love seeing the journey. Oh, that's awesome. I got to do more comedy. This is my goal this coming year, is to try to get the tea company. You know, the tea companies wound up being bigger than I expected. These accounts have become bigger than I expected. I want to try to get some of the running of this stuff off of my hands so that I can do more like stand-up and comedy and tour and do live tea events and stuff like that. It would be a lot of fun. Cheers for the Qimen. Look at that color, man. Very, very pretty. Very, very pretty tea color there. Love it. Questions over here. Kyle Fleury says, 你的最爱的茶是什么? What is my favorite tea? 我最爱的茶很难说. I don't know how I'd say my favorite tea. 难说这个应该可以说是这个普洱 so Pu-erh tea 白茶 is white tea 老白茶 old white tea but I like having a little bit of different things 每天喝的不一样就好cheers over there excellent questions any update on TPET competition stuff I have updates that are coming soon there has been progress and I don't want to give any spoilers away, but basically we have selected 3 finalists. We've sent all 3 of the finalist TPETs to China, and my team in China is looking at them, and they're basically kind of doing an analysis now on whether we can actually make them into TPETs, because sometimes people might be able to mold something with their hand that we can't like make, and I'm not an expert on like, you know, mold making and stuff like that, so I want to make sure that my team in China is like very confident they're going to be able to do the stuff, and we'll figure it out from there. Question over here, somebody's asking, will the tariffs impact your prices a lot? Should I go ahead and stock up now? I will never tell anybody not to stock up on my tea, but if the tariffs pass, it could be very, very bad for us. My experience of living through the first Trump presidency was that most of the stuff that he said he was going to do did not necessarily happen. And a lot of the stuff that was very kind of like surprising happened suddenly. So in some ways, what is being talked about is probably not what will happen, but we'll see what does happen. I think that the trade war is, I mean, from my perspective, is pretty ruinous. Every day that we're stopping people from trading and living together and eating and drinking and traveling, I think is a bad thing. This is apolitical. We've had almost a full administration of the Republicans and a full administration of the Democrats, both doing trade war policies with China. The tea that I have here, we're not protecting any American Qimen red tea industry. The tariffs on porcelain, nobody in America makes this. I cannot buy it from Americans. I think the trade should be open and free. I think the border should be open and free for travel. I think if you want to live somewhere, there should be a process. But like, I really think it's we're not sure what's going to happen, and it's a very uncomfortable position for me to be in as a business owner because I don't know what will happen. That being said, I mean, I was drinking tea before I ran the tea business. I was drinking tea for a decade before I even started doing this. I'm gonna be drinking my tea. I'm gonna be living my life. I invite you all to be part of it, whatever the situation is, and I just hope that the politicians don't make it expensive for you. That's kind of how I'm dealing with it. Questions over here. Do you know or have any recommended resources on the other ways to prepare the Tibetan dark tea, salt, butter, or the other stuff you mentioned from Liam Largo? So the Tibetan dark tea we have on the website in Tibet and in Qinghai and in Sichuan and the other provinces where they have Tibetan villages and stuff like that. They usually combine it with salt and yak butter. How much salt and how much yak butter, I don't know. I've had it before when I went to Qinghai, to the Tibetan villages, and it tastes like yak butter. I don't know if it would work with regular butter. In Chinese, they call it suyo cha. Su is like, I guess you would say like fatty or butter. Suyo cha, so like, you know, like butter tea, I guess they would call it. But I don't have any specific resources on that. You could Google it. Cheers over here. Cody is drinking Ancient Tree Red Tea from Chiang Mai. Great mountain, great tea, great choice. Very much so deserving of a fantastic tea time. Questions from Nuno says, I've been looking to try some good tea because once I was a kid, I've always been kind of, what does that say? Tea was always kind of I don't know what that means. Happy to answer the question if I know what it was. X Sacred X says, Jesse, how you been? I've been doing good, X Sacred X. It's been a while. OG follower of the channel right there. Cheers. Questions. Do I do local pickup in LA? I don't actually. I have like, I'd say like 2 to 3 bags of everything that I have on my site in my apartment, but the warehouse is located in New Jersey. That was back in the pandemic when everything was closed and I couldn't get shipping to the West Coast. And, you know, I started the whole business during the pandemic, during the worst of the COVID shipping crisis. And so it's set us up with some weird like situations now, like me living in the West Coast and running the business off the East Coast. But ultimately, you know, my job is finding the good teas and coordinating the process of making sure that they get here and doing the import paperwork and paying the taxes. And then also, of course, sharing with you guys about what teas we're drinking. And then the warehouse staff is able to pack the orders and send them out. They do a very good job. We generally ship orders within 2 business days. So if you buy 2-day shipping, give us 2 days to put it in the mail, then 2 days to ship. So it's closer to 4 days. But again, we sometimes are able to get it into the mail the same day. So cheers. Excellent. Other questions over here. Greetings from Norway. Greetings. Sipping some excellent Yabal. I got one that was in Yunnan this summer. That's great. That's some good stuff. The Yabal is very good. We don't have any of on the shop right now. Cooking with the nameless one. He, how many are we planning on sharing the other tea pet finalists? Yes, we are. I'm gonna make a video of it, but I don't want to tell you guys before I tell everybody. So I'd like to. We've told the 3 finalists. The 3 finalists have sent their finals in, and we're gonna give a little bit of an update. I'm actually just. I actually just today, after I made my video for today, got the footage of one of the mock-ups that we made with one of the molds. So we'll see how it is. People asking where I am. I'm in Los Angeles, downtown LA. Ironically, one of the cheaper parts of LA, because society is right on the knife's edge of falling apart here in downtown. It's not a green screen. I'm actually here. I don't know. I could throw the. Is there something I can throw down? Is a leaf? But the reason I'm outside is I just want to be outside drinking tea so badly right now, so I figured I would do it. Over here we have a comment on TikTok. Sophocleos, wishing you and continue your work as a seller and educator of tea and tea culture. Wishing you the best. Thank you so much. I love you guys. This is unbelievable. I'm just like, I was thinking about the other day. I was like, I ran into a friend of mine from China that I hadn't talked to in 3 or 4 years, and they're like, what have you been up to? Are you still doing shows? I'm like, I am still doing shows, but also I've been running this tea company. And they're like, what do you mean? And I showed them all the stuff. They're like, this is like unbelievably thorough to have made a video a day for 1,000 days. And I'm like, oh, I guess it was. In the moment, it seemed like it made sense. In hindsight, it looks kind of crazy, but it's all worked out fabulously. So very, very cool. Cheers, everybody. It's not green screen. Someone to say green screen. No, it is actual. It's just so nice out here. This is why I got this apartment, because of this porch. I was like, this porch is like, I just want to be able to sit out and look at the mountains in the city, and everything's great. Questions from Nathan Druskell on Instagram says, want to try your Pu-erh tea oranges? Great. Any suggestions how to start, like things I need or that I should try different tea first? My only suggestion is if you're on a budget to get the 8-tea sampler box, because the 8-tea sampler box has tea oranges in it, but it also has a lot of other teas. So you can try the tea oranges and see if you like them, and if you do like them, you can pick up a full box. If not, the worst case scenario, you have 7 other teas to try. The only other thing I would recommend is if on every tea of mine, they have a card that comes in the thing. This is a small one, but you can see here, there is there's a card with a QR code, and the QR code's linked to videos on how to make the tea. And so if you're only going to watch the video once, you might as well watch it before you start drinking the tea. So that way you can make the tea as well as possible. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, you're going to fuck it up by yourself, or oh, you're going to mess it up by yourself. But like if you're going to watch it, I did prepare it for you guys. So try to make it a little bit easier. People are asking, Jesse, what are we drinking now? We are drinking the premium Qimen. I'll show you the leaves again over here. Premium Qimen red tea. This is in the new subscription box. The leaf quality is very, very good. Full leaves, really nice, no dregs. I want to see if I can kind of show this somehow. There's just a little bit of liquid left in here I can show you, but like, here. Get that out. There's, yeah, like, There's no dust, even at the bottom. It's just full leaves. Good quality. The tea bags are all dust. This is no dust. It's the opposite. Great over here. Jackson Byers says, I just got my box. Going to try some tea now. Perfect timing. Perfect. Welcome. Lucy's drinking the Anji Green. Nice. Very, very fun. Effortless Qigong. You rock. Oh, very cool. Love the Qigong. My mom does Qigong. I haven't done a lot of Qigong, but glad to hear we got some Qigong people. Cheers, everybody. And again, the red tea, really nice color. You want that sort of like clarity to the color, very bright color. Like, look at that. Very, very cool. I don't think I can get the buildings to show up in the background. If you look through it from my angle, you can see the buildings in the background. Cheers, everyone. Question from Putzko. My wife loves the black jasmine. Anything we should do to get another step? We tried the green, but did not like it as much. The black jasmine is really good. We're looking again to try to get that back on the site. If you like the black jasmine, you could try the tea oranges, the Pu-erh tea oranges, because that'll have some orange scent, plus the dark, like kind of like heavily oxidized. It's not a show. The black jasmine is not a show Pu-erh, but it's close. So the Pu-erh tea oranges could be another one that you would like from like the same sort of series. Very, very cool. Questions over here. I definitely want tea leaves, not tea dust. That's from City of the Sins. Thank you. If everybody in the world thought that way, we would have a lot better tea. It's like a total sham that the wealthiest countries in the world drink the worst tea, and they drink the worst tea because it was just like cheaper for the colonialists that owned the colonial tea farms in India and Sri Lanka and Kenya to buy huge amounts of tea, mix it all together, grind it up, and then put the powder into the bags, and that allowed you can pass off really bad quality tea that way if you're just doing the powder. Originally, you can buy it even cheaper. Even nowadays, you can like buy cheap tea if you have. This is the premium. These are the full leaves. Once they've separated all the broken ones, these are the ones that are left. That's what I sell. It's not even that much more money than the tea bags. But like everybody buys the Junko tea bags. It's nuts. We don't need to change everybody. We just need to do there. Black Sage, beautiful landscape. I love, Los Angeles, man. I just like, the rent is twice what it should be, but it's, I can be outside in a short sleeve shirt looking at the mountains in November. So, as a guy from Boston and who lived in Beijing and dealt with the cold from the Mongolian wind coming in, I just like, gotta be happy. Gotta appreciate it. Dogson says, I need, Very good. Sophico says, so true. Some of the wealthiest also eat the blandest food too. It's nuts. Like, this is always something I'm actually really interested in because I don't go too much into this stuff on the channel because I don't want people thinking that tea culture is ridiculously expensive. It doesn't have to be. But if you go to China, you can spend any amount of money you want on tea and tea stuff. You can spend like, I had a picture I took of a very, very, very high-end tea brand in China that had tea pets that were sunflower seeds, and each sunflower seed was 300 kwai, which is $45, for a handmade sunflower seed tea pet covered in like gold leaf or something like that. It was nuts. You don't need to spend $45 for a sunflower seed tea pet. But, there are people that will do it. Or tea cakes that are 88,888 kwai or whatever. Like, you don't need to spend that much on it. That being said, I think there is a floor below which you're really not getting like real tea, and you're getting some sort of like industrialized tea product, like the tea bags, stuff like that. So, cheers. Questions. Sarcasm, do you ever buy tea from other vendors like Sohan? So, not specifically from Sohan, although like other like tea people will occasionally gift each other stuff. So I'll give some of my tea, they'll give me some of their tea. It's always good to be exchanging and trying different stuff. But generally, like, there's not much reason for me to be buying from other Western vendors because like I have the hookups. So like almost whatever they can get, I can get. Um, but if I'm in somebody else's tea house and they want to make me something, I'm definitely drinking it. I'm not being like, oh, I could get this too. No, like, we're all tea people. We're all having fun with the tea. Great questions. Favorite Pu-erh region or mountain and thoughts on traditional versus dry storage? There's a lot of heavy Pu-erh questions coming. I'm gonna reboil the water. I mean, I like. There's so many good tea mountains in Yunnan. I like Yiwu. I like Yiwushan. The Yiwu Pu-erh is very sweet. I like that. I like Bulangshan. I mean, if you can get good Bingdao and good Laobanjiang, it's really good. I mean, when we went, you can actually see a video of this, I think, not this last summer, but the one before. I went to Bingdao Ancient Village with Dui Dui, my tea guy, who makes these cups. These are Dui Dui's cups. Look how cool that cup is. I love that cup. And we went to Bingdao, to the ancient village, and he just picked a couple leaves from those old trees, and we made like a 3-day aged white tea with them. It might have been the best tea I've ever had. It was so good. If you can get really good Bingdao or Laobanjiang, you can do that. The Laobanjiang that I have on the website is I mean, it's unbelievably good tea. We have the Laobanjiang white tea, but it's not like the ancient of the oldest trees, or else I wouldn't be able to sell it to you. It would just be too expensive. We have younger trees from the good region. So that's what we're doing there. Very, very cool. Questions from Happy Barnason says, I've heard reboiling water reduces oxygen in the water and changes the taste of tea. Is that true? I've never heard of that, but maybe. Sounds like maybe a good video topic. I have no idea. Question over here from blah, 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 blah. How did you become fluent in Chinese? I'm learning now and need some tips. So, I mean, I had several levels of my Chinese study. I studied at school when I was in the States. I moved to China. I studied abroad in China for 6 months during university, during college. I did a 2-month summer program and a 4-month study abroad semester. So I did like a summer and a fall semester studying in Beijing at intensive language programs. So I did this sort of program every day. They made us learn 100 new characters, and we had a test the next day on the 100 characters we had learned. So it was definitely a very intensive. I think intensiveness is really good if you want to get very good at any language. So if you could find a way, if you're studying, that you can get to do a summer program or even a 2-week program in China, in Taiwan, anywhere where they're going to speak Mandarin every day, I would recommend looking into that. And then I'm looking into some other, I get asked this a lot, and a lot of the stuff that I did, like, I moved to China and lived there for 9 years. So this is kind of like good advice, but bad advice for the internet. Like, I really can't, like, there's nothing actionable you can do if I tell you to move to China for 9 years. Like, that's not very helpful. So, my hope is that the, I need to come up with some better ways to help people who are trying to learn Chinese, because the stuff that I did was, 10 years ago and, may not be helpful. But I think in general, one thing you could try is don't underestimate the importance of just listening to Chinese or any language you're learning. The ear learns before the mouth. When I was learning traditional Chinese comedy, my shifu, my master, would always say, like, you need to be able to listen before you speak, because if you can't hear what you're saying and whether it's wrong, you have no hope of saying it correctly. It's just going to be random whether you said it right. So being able to get more listening practice and understanding this is how the language is actually spoken, this is how the language actually comes out, then that way when you speak it yourself, you have a better chance of getting good at it. So when I was in China, I would do stuff like, this was back in the old days when there was pirated everything, but I would like listen to all the Boston Celtics basketball games with the Chinese commentary on Youku. At that time, you didn't even need like an NBA pass or whatever. You could just see the whole game pirated in Chinese the next day on the internet. And so I would watch the Celtics in Chinese. I had some video games. I liked watching streamers. I would watch Chinese streamers. I would watch, there's a couple really good food documentaries in China. Chinese media is kind of up and down, but like food documentary is like a big one. that they do a really good job on it. So that would be the way to I look at that. So very, very cool. Awesome. A lot of questions over here. Rick Ramirez says, could you do a bit on coffee and non-strain versus under... Wait, what? Hold on, someone. Rick says, could you do a bit on coffee and non-strain versus under steeping? I understand the principle, but clearly there is a difference between coffee under steeped and a bit. I don't know what that means. I don't know anything about coffee or how to steep coffee. I probably had like 12 cups of coffee in my whole life. Rick asked what country I'm from. I'm American. We're in Los Angeles now, but I lived in China for 9 years, and you know, I definitely you know, I try to see myself as a global person and an American. I don't think I have to choose. Questions over here. Question says, we'll say, someone say, hi, 你好, hey, 你好. 有说中文的也可以用中文打字，我们交流。Rum Brave says, you had a post a while back about the book Babel. How did you like it? I thought the magic system was pretty cool. I bought the book and I brought it with me to China in my backpack, the heavy-ass book, and I was so busy, I never got to read it. So I still haven't gotten to read it. Maybe I'll do that tonight. I was trying to think of something chill to do tonight. Maybe I'll start reading Babel. I've heard it's really good. I also just am a real, I know that like the protagonist is like a Hong Konger in England. I always am really excited to see stories about people in one culture in a second culture and how they address that, because that is my entire life. Even though I live in America now again, figuring out how to fit in here, weirdly enough, is I don't even know what to call myself. I'm not like in China they call it expatriate, which really just means immigrant. I was an immigrant in China, and now I'm back here, but I feel in many ways more like a Chinese immigrant back in America than an American in some ways. Couple years in, it's a little bit better, but when I first moved back, it was crazy, because like I had lived my entire adult life abroad. I moved immediately after college. I came back, no credit score. I had never rented an apartment in America. You know, I had to get my own health insurance. What's going on there? I got like scammed with health insurance because I didn't understand how the health insurance sign-up system worked, and somebody like stole all my personal information, and I had to like, you know, fight for 3 months with my credit card company to get the money back that they had taken from me. It was nuts. I had to like go through all that stuff as if I was moving to a new country, even though it was my country. So luckily I will ever, you know, my English is fantastic. I can scoot by here. Over here on Instagram, somebody is asking, Mateus, it's Jacqui, asked if I'd ever go to Canada for a tea tour. I should totally do that. I'm definitely going to hit up Canada, at the very least Vancouver and Toronto, at some point in the next 12 months to do comedy shows. Because there's a ton of Chinese people there to do comedy shows. Maybe I could do some sort of English show as well, or a tea meetup or something like that. It would be great. Questions over here. Could you do a video on tea strength versus oversteeping? I don't understand the science, but clearly there is. Hold on, something going over here. Clearly there's a difference between tea being strong and oversteep versus bitter. Yeah, that's a good question. Here's the thing. The hot water is essentially like a catalyst. If you leave tea leaves in cool water, they will steep, but they will take a long time. With the hot water, they steep faster, but more types of chemicals come out of the leaf. And some of those chemicals are bitter or have bitter notes. Some of those come from the leaf. Some of them are meant to be destroyed in the processing of the tea to sweeten the tea and take some of the bitter notes out. And depending on the quality of the leaf and the quality of the processing, your end product will have like a certain amount of different chemicals in there. And that's what comes out in the water. So you can have a tea that's very strong, but was made in a quality way where it's not going to be bitter. You can also have a tea that's going to be very, very bitter, but doesn't have that much like other flavors. A lot of that comes down to the tea quality, and the steeping is a method of being able to adjust. So sometimes a tea like Pu-erh, raw Pu-erh, it's going to have an astringent taste in it. But if you steep it at a lower temperature, like 80 or 90, you could even steep it for a longer time and have it be stronger. But because the temperature never got up to those higher levels, it'll be stronger but sweeter. Whereas if you like the astringent taste, or you really want to have a more full flavor, and you're willing to kind of deal with some of that astringency, you can blast it at 100 and do a very short steep and get a lot of stuff out quickly and into the cup. The problem with a lot of tea bags is that you have no control because it's all surface area. With the leaves, these leaves, even like these leaves, these are full leaves. They're small, but they all are individual leaves. And so the individual leaves take a little bit more time to soak in, and they won't just they don't give all of the tea energy out at once. But a tea bag is all ground up junky like powder. And so a powder basically instantly dissolves, and so you get all of that tannin, astringent, bitter flavor out, and there's no control over it. So it's a balance of trying to figure out what the right steep time and temperature for each different tea is. And again, it's like, it's not science, or at least in the Gongfu tea ceremony, it's not science. I'm not sitting here with a timer and I do have a temperature control kettle, but like, it's not so worrisome that like if you make it wrong, it's going to be horrible. That's why you have the good leaves. The good leaves are not going to be horrible if you just make it a little bit off. Anyway, Marie Quinn says Mike Tyson said what up. Hey, what up, Mike Tyson? If you're actually Mike Tyson, come on the Tea Podcast. I'd love to talk to you. It's a winner mentality. Questions over here. Lilith Kitsune asks, updates on the EU warehouse. Yes, let me give you guys updates. This has been a horrible experience for me trying to open up this warehouse. I started in February, where like my hope is for the EU, we will be able to be selling tea equipment starting the beginning of December. We've already sent the tea equipment on a train. We can't ship it by boat because the delays were too long, and the war in the Middle East has closed the Suez Canal. So if we were to send it by boat, it would take 50 to 60 days. And we don't have the connections to get the good boats. People who are like real, like merchants, like whatever, Walmart or stuff like that, I don't know, whoever the hell is doing big business, Aldi, IKEA, whatever, they have like the hookups, they can get the good boats. We're sending it by train. If everything works out well, it should arrive at the end of November, and if everything clears customs, we should be selling the equipment in the EU in the beginning of December, and you'll be able to get stuff for Christmas. The tea itself has been much harder because every time we think we have the right papers, they need more papers, and nobody will even tell us what the papers are. It's been unbelievably frustrating. We've spent thousands of dollars on testing already for this chemical test, that chemical test. We have the Chinese version of the test. Oh, the Europeans don't trust it. We need to test it at a European warehouse. We hired a company to help us do all this testing, and they're doing a good job, but it's like slow. It's frustrating. They want to be in charge of getting the samples that are being tested. Good idea. This is good for in general, but just the amount of paperwork that's been needed for Europe and the UK is horrible, and we have to do it twice because of Brexit. I'm like, if we might get the go-ahead tomorrow that we have all the papers, it might take us 6 months. I've for my own mental health, stopped worrying about when it will happen for the tea, and just acknowledge that we're in it for the long game with you guys in Europe and the UK. I put in all the money. We're going to do it. It's going to open. And when it opens, I'm going to have all the paperwork right, and you're going to have all the chemical testing done, and you can know that it's really, really good. We did all that for America, but it's a different system. So I underestimated how hard it was going to be to get those papers because I had people that I trusted that said they had the papers, and then when it actually came time to send the shipment, it turns out they didn't. So the equipment, though, is a little bit easier. The equipment in the EU, hopefully by the end of December. And then And then for the UK, this is like the UK government that's the problem now. In August, I sent in my application for a UK VAT number, like the tax number, basically. They said it would take a month. They have still not sent it to me. That was in August. So it should have been by the beginning of September, beginning of October, beginning of November. They're like already 9 weeks late. But that's the government. I can't yell at anybody. This isn't like I hired the wrong people. Like, the government is just not doing their job. And I have people who's every week are emailing them and asking for updates, and they get no updates. So if anybody knows anybody at the UK VAT service that can push our stuff through, we're just a normal company trying to do e-commerce, no special conditions or anything. They won't give us our numbers. Without the number, I can't even send the shipment. So, like, I'm in it for the long haul, though, to try to get you guys good tea. That was a big thing I took out of my Europe trip. I didn't have like a whole live stream talking about the Europe trip. I went all over Europe. I spent 4 weeks and did tea events in Rome, Copenhagen, Hamburg, Berlin, Amsterdam, London, and Oxford. And it was amazing. We had like 30, 40, 50, 60 people come. I'd say we had 70 or 80 in Oxford. It was great. The intensity and the interest of the people in Europe for the tea stuff was so much fun, and it was just so it made me feel really good about all the work we've put in, even though we failed to get the warehouse open as quick as I wanted to. In the long term, I think the tea audience and the tea drinkers in Europe are fantastic. I really liked, as an American, how just like regular people drink tea. It's not like a specialty thing. Lots of people drink coffee too, but lots of people drink tea. And especially as you got further up into Northern Europe, when we were in, when we were in the colder, kind of rainier parts of Europe, it's a great place to sit out and look at the beautiful cities in the kicked off the thing. If I did get kicked off, I apologize. I got a call. I just got a call from a good friend of mine that I haven't talked to in a long time. I've been on here for a while. I'm actually going to get going so I can call him back and make sure that I get a chance to catch up. Last question's over here. Any idea if the Mandarin Peel Shomei is coming back? It will. We've already placed the reorder. They're stocking it. They're packing it. And we're probably going to air ship some of it so it'll be available before Christmas. And then last question's over here. If I see one or two over here. Yellow tea soon. Not soon. I found a really good yellow tea, but it's too expensive for the subscription. So I may do it as a pre-order, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Enjoy, everybody. Thank you all so much. And then for you guys who don't know, if you ever want tea stuff or you're wondering what to do with tea, jessieteahouse.com. I'm Jesse. I run a tea shop. All of these teas come from friends of mine that are tea farmers and small tea shop owners in China. And if you haven't tried them, try the resins. Sisterized tea resins, 4 different flavors. There are little tablets that just dissolve. Each one of these is like a pot of tea. And put it in a bag, put it in a backpack. It's the best. It's been great to be able to see everybody and to say hi. And as always, thank you all so much for making it so that I can drink tea every day and hang out with you guys. I really do appreciate it. Have a good one. I'll see you guys around the next time. Bye-bye.